I'm Jay Taylor. I'm the editor of Jay Taylor's Gold Energy and Tech Stock. I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum. It's September 29th, 2018. And I'm here with Michael Gunning. He is the president and CEO of a company called VR Resources Limited. It's a company that I have not covered yet in my newsletter. I'm certainly interested in potentially doing so, and that's one of the reasons I'm happy to talk to Michael. Welcome, Michael. It's good to meet up with you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Your stock, a mere 47.3 million shares, VRR, I believe is a symbol, and
it is.
18 cents, 20 cents, somewhere in that
range.
Yes,
in that range.
Less than a $10 million market cap, and you have a couple of very interesting properties. I don't know if you'd say your flagship is the Bonita porphyry property, or you have another one, the Junction, a silver copper project as well. Which do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about Junction first because we're moving into that, but I guess you're right. You want to think of it as a flagship fleet. You're working on multiple properties. You always have your priorities in terms of what's coming next.
Yeah.
We've just come out of a drill program at Bonita, second drill program on this large porphyry copper system in Nevada. Exciting for us geologically. We're still looking for that breakthrough intersection, but in terms of alteration, I guess what I would say to people is following that drill program, we've done more staking. We've found more copper occurrences in the southern part of the system. Our own conviction for the upside of that system to produce potentially a cluster of deposits like Yarrington is still in front of us. It's a very unusual upside for the company, and I would say for the copper industry. But as we move out of the Bonita drill program, we move into this Junction drill program. Property we picked up last year, there are copper-bearing dikes sticking out of the ground at Junction. Bonita's about size, Junction's about grade. Turns out that this copper has got micro-inclusions of silver. The consistency of copper-silver mineralization over 6 kilometers is almost 1-to-1. It's a really unusual copper-silver deposit in the Yukon Territory called Minto, which I think is an interesting analog for Junction. And Jay, like Bonita, what Junction has done, we have done a lot of work on Junction on the ground, geophysical surveys, soil sampling, et cetera, for 6 months. We don't talk about it that much because we're drilling at Bonita. But our conviction on the nature of this copper-silver mineralization has strengthened. And so we put in our drill permit application in September. I expect to have it in the next week or two. We've put out the tenders for the drill program. I expect to have those finalized. And our guidance hasn't really changed, that we would like to do the first pass drilling on Junction in October, November. And so that's what our focus is on. I believe in Nevada's jurisdiction. It's one of the oldest silver states in the world, with the old Comstock discovery that was the roots of the San Francisco Stock Exchange, was the silver that was coming out of Comstock. So if you're fortunate enough to make a discovery in copper and silver at a property like Junction in a state like Nevada, I don't need to explain the relevance of that to mining companies and investors. It becomes, Jay, what I call self-explanatory. So that is our focus right now.
So that's your primary focus, and you'll be doing drilling this, so we might get some results perhaps in Q1 of 2019.
Yeah, I think ideally you'd see the results either late in Q4 before the Christmas holiday or early in January. The drill program will only take 2 to 3 weeks. These veins and dikes come to surface, so we're not
shallow holes.
Right. We don't require big rigs with long, expensive drill holes. That's not the case in Junction.
Probably angle holes, so the orientation is pretty much vertical of these structures? Or?
They're actually inclined, so it's very easy to step back from these drill holes and do an inclined hole. There's 2 upsides for Junction, Jay. One is that you simply see, we can map 12 or 15 dikes over 150 meters. It's really better understood as a dike swarm. And if you understand that that's what they actually mined at the Yarrington porphyry copper deposit, it makes Junction interesting because it's not one dike, but it's a swarm of dikes. But also, Jay, imagine that these dikes are moving, sourcing down dip out of a larger melt body or a larger stock. I think Junction has that potential. So the drill program is going to test those ideas, and VR has been doing some very sophisticated EM geophysical work for the past 6 months to make us as smart as we can going into the drill program. You need to go into Nevada with new ideas and new technologies. You can't go in and do what Newmont was doing 50 years ago.
No.
And VR does that. VR goes in with new ideas and new technologies. So we're excited.
Well, new ideas, you mentioned getting back to the Bonita project. You were saying something to the extent that there hasn't been any new major discovery, copper discovery in North America for any length of time. What nuance is there about the Bonita property, if that's what you're looking to do, to create new ideas, to
That's a nice
discover
question.
ideas?
Very nice question. A couple of things. One, to go in and understand that there's now a new porphyry copper system, the exact same age as Yarrington, and basically the same age as most of the porphyry copper systems through western British Columbia here, like Mount Milligan, Galore Creek, Copper Mountain. 5 years ago, before VR was exploring, we didn't know that that was the age of Bonita. It was thought to be much younger. And the second thing is to understand through some really sophisticated geochemistry that Bonita is alkaline. Alkaline porphyry copper deposits here in BC, like Galore Creek and Mount Milligan, which are the same age, Jay, they carry gold. And just, it doesn't sound like very much, but just putting 0.5 gram of gold into a porphyry copper deposit, 0.3, it completely changes the economics of the copper itself. And what I want to do, what I want VR to do, is put a new greenfields discovery on the map in a jurisdiction and a location where the copper mining industry can actually mine it, because that's what we need. And whether it's Tesla or whether it's iPhone,
they all
whether
need
it's
copper.
baseload electricity in the developed world, copper is the common denominator.
Absolutely. No
So-
question about it. How well funded are you to carry out your exploration?
We're well funded. So yes, we raised about $2.7 million this spring at 25 to 27 cents. We generally work on about a 2-year treasury. So our last reporting quarter was $3 million in the treasury. We're less than that now with the Bonita drill program. But the treasury is good for the kind of exploration that we do. So we're going to move ahead with a conviction on this drill program at Junction. It's not an expensive drill program, but the upside is unusual because of this copper silver grade. So in this market cycle, we will keep our heads down, Jay, and balance rigor with conviction. That's what we're going to do.
I like the story also in part because of the tight share structure. So if you are successful here, it could be very exciting for shareholders, and management and insiders own a good chunk of it.
Right. It's not just the structure; it's what I call the composition. Jay,
The composition of ownership.
We have half of our shares sitting in the hands of 5 people, institutions, and 2 insiders that understand the strategy. They understand the scale of Bonita. They understand the grade of Junction. So they are long-term. They are mining long, Nevada long, VR long. So I'm grateful for that shareholder base we have.
You really need that in this industry. You need to have a stable share price and an ability to raise capital.
You do.
That's really all the time we have, but this is certainly a story that I'll be paying more attention to. I want to thank you very much, Mike, for being with us.
Thanks for your time, Jay. I appreciate it.
All the best.
Yep,
Take care.
I appreciate it.